AI can now write faster than any founder alive. It can generate your emails, scripts, posts, offers, and ideas in literally seconds. But that creates a problem nobody talks about. When absolutely everyone can produce more content, producing content stops being the advantage. The advantage becomes knowing what is actually worth saying, knowing how to think clearly, knowing how to turn one idea into something people trust, remember, and act on. And that is exactly why the most valuable skill for founders in the age of AI may not be prompting or coding or automation. It may just be writing. So let's dive right into this apparent contradiction. You might be wondering, why on earth would writing become more valuable at the exact moment AI can already produce unlimited words for us? Well, to answer that, we have to completely reframe what writing actually is. We need to stop seeing it as just typing words on a screen or checking off a marketing task. For modern founders, creators, and entrepreneurs like us, writing is the foundational operating system of your entire business. Let's look at exactly why that is. Look, AI has completely collapsed the cost of output. It takes near zero effort right now to produce raw text, crank out article summaries, or flood your social media with content. But here is the absolutely crucial point. Easier production does not automatically create better judgment. Sure, AI can massively accelerate how fast you express things, but it can't automatically determine what is actually true. It doesn't know what your specific audience desperately needs right now, which trade-off you should make in your business, or what you as a founder genuinely believe. Honestly, generating information is cheap. Knowing which information actually deserves attention, that requires human judgment, commercial alignment, and most importantly, trust. As output becomes infinite and abundant everywhere around us, judgment becomes the ultimate scarce resource. And writing matters because it's the one mechanism that forces you to choose, organize, clarify, and defend an actual idea. So this leads us to a really vital question. If writing is essentially a gym for improving your judgment and your thinking, how exactly does it translate into a tangible business asset? How does clear thinking actually become commercial leverage in today's digital economy? To really get this, we need to look at how the rules of wealth creation have fundamentally shifted. Think about the industrial age. That was old leverage, and it was incredibly capital intensive. We're talking about property, massive factories, heavy machinery, physical inventory, and managing huge teams of employees. These assets are geographically limited and require massive upkeep, right? I mean, a factory can only make so many units a day. By contrast, new leverage is built on completely different things: audience, brand, media, intellectual property, software, and digital products. Now, we aren't saying physical assets are obsolete, not at all, but the available forms of leverage have dramatically expanded in the modern era. And this brings us to the whole concept of digital leverage. Digital leverage simply means you produce an asset once, and then it can be distributed repeatedly to millions of people at a near zero additional cost. It literally compounds while you sleep. What this means for you is that you need far less than you might think to succeed. I think founders often overestimate what it takes to win because, they're looking at out-of-touch celebrities with millions of followers. But let's look at the data from our source material. Creator Dan Koh replaced his entire income with roughly 5,000 followers in just 6 months of focused effort. He also mentioned a friend who built a fitness coaching business making $100,000 a month with just 10,000 followers. That's it. A small, highly aligned audience is infinitely more commercially valuable than a massive disconnected one. Today, the only real requirement to build leverage is a good idea and the confidence to post it. So, you might be asking, what actually powers all of that digital leverage? Well, if you look at the hidden architecture of the internet, it reveals that writing is the central hub. It's the one skill sitting underneath all the others. Nearly every single digital asset you consume or create starts as a single written thought. Think about it. You can learn to code the most amazing, groundbreaking software in the world, but if you can't write well enough to attract people to what you built, nobody is ever going to use it. Writing is the master lever that unlocks all the other forms of leverage. Let's break down the spokes of this wheel for a second. Writing is the engine of modern business because it literally powers everything you can think of. Those highly engaging video scripts, they are written. Your weekly newsletters and those high-converting sales pages, written. Advertisements, emails, social media posts, websites, online courses, yep, all written. By mastering this one core skill, you allow a single, well-thought-out idea to branch out into multiple, highly profitable digital assets. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate multiplier for your time and energy. But, the benefits aren't just about external outputs. Writing actually rewires the founder's brain. It acts like a literal gym where the mind is built and toned. First off, it forces clarity. You might feel like you understand a concept perfectly in your head, right? Until you actually try to write it out. Writing collapses the fog into a single concrete line and brutally exposes exactly what you don't actually know. Second, it builds pattern recognition. Once you start writing regularly, you develop the sort of photographer's eye, but for concepts. You start seeing arguments, metaphors, and structures everywhere in your daily life. Third, it surfaces ideas. When your mind has a designated topic to serve, it becomes a heat-seeking missile, noticing the exact ideas you need to hit your target. And finally, it accelerates learning through what's called the protégé effect. Teaching an idea by writing about it forces you to retain it far better than just passively studying it. Writing is teaching and understanding happening simultaneously. What's really interesting, though, is looking at what stops most people from actually doing this. We've all been there. You read something, you think you totally get it, you sit down to write about it, and you suddenly realize you just can't. Most founders immediately conclude, "Oh, I'm just not qualified to write about this yet." But honestly, that is a massive psychological trap. It's not a lack of qualification, it's an invisible gatekeeper you built in your own mind out of fear. You have the right to write about an idea just like anyone else on Earth does. Getting stuck isn't a failure. The exact moment you can't write anymore is the precise signal pinpointing exactly where your understanding breaks down. That is simply your cue to go learn a little bit more, and then sit back down and keep writing. Okay, so how do we actually start producing without burning out? The secret here is steal, don't invent. Now, to be crystal clear, this absolutely does not mean copying another creator's words. Never do that. What it actually means is that you shouldn't try to write completely from scratch or invent entirely new formats out of thin air. Instead, study the topics and the structural packaging that already capture market attention. Run your ideas through two simple filters. Is it worth sharing? And is it packaged well? Look at the hooks and frameworks that are working right now on social platforms. Your job as a founder is to take those proven psychological structures and filter them through your own unique perspective. You merge the topic you deeply care about with the packaging the market already rewards. To make this incredibly practical, here is a highly actionable, step-by-step weekly system to turn your scattered thoughts into serious leverage. Step 1, pick one theme for the entire week. Everything you read and watch will start feeding into it. Step 2, open a single capture document. Just save every idea, link, and clip that fits the topic all week long. Step 3, study 3 successful posts in your space, just to borrow the structure of their hooks. Step 4, sit down and write one substantial, long piece for 60 minutes using all those captured notes. And step 5, repurpose it everywhere. That one deep newsletter or article gets sliced up into a video script, a podcast topic, and a whole week's worth of short social posts. You literally write once and you feed every platform. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Walking, reading, and dedicating just 60 minutes a day of focused writing builds the 3 most future-proof skills there are: learning, thinking, and earning independently. As our source material perfectly states, in the age of AI, those are the skills that simply don't expire. The machine can generate words all day long, but it cannot generate your unique judgment, your trust, or your leverage. So the real question is, are you going to keep competing on raw production and generating digital noise, or are you going to start building true compounding leverage through writing?